Have you ever stepped out onto your back porch early in the morning, filled up your hanging bird feeder with fresh seeds, and felt a sudden, warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest as a bright red cardinal instantly fluttered down to grab a quick bite? We all secretly want to experience that magical, picture-perfect, storybook moment. We desperately want to believe that we are somehow like a classic Disney character, peacefully coexisting with the beautiful natural world, and that the wild birds in our yard see us as their gentle, loving, and generous friends. We constantly project our complex human emotions onto them, thinking that their beautiful morning songs are a sign of gratitude for the expensive sunflower seeds we buy them, or that they look at us with affection. But I need you to completely erase that romantic fairy tale illusion from your mind right now. When a wild bird looks at you through the window, it does not see a friend. It does not feel affection, and it certainly does not feel gratitude. It sees a massive, unpredictable, incredibly loud, and extremely dangerous apex predator. To a tiny chickadee or a hyperactive blue jay, you are a towering, terrifying giant capable of destroying their entire fragile world in a single, careless second. Their tiny brains are not wired for friendship. They are wired for one thing and one thing only, and that is absolute, paranoid, relentless survival. Every waking moment of their incredibly stressful life is spent running complex threat assessments, scanning the sky for shadows, and listening for the slightest rustle in the bushes. But here is where the science gets truly fascinating and completely changes the dynamic of your backyard. Some of the older, highly intelligent, and experienced birds in your yard have made a brilliant, cold, and entirely mathematical calculation regarding your existence. They have realized that while you might be a terrifying predator to them, every other real predator in the neighborhood is absolutely terrified of you. They have decided to weaponize your massive physical presence. They have chosen to turn the biggest, scariest monster in the yard into their own personal, unpaid, highly effective bodyguard. When a bird decides to use you as a human shield against the dangers of the world, it doesn't send you a thank you note or sing a special song. Instead, it leaves 3 very specific, highly calculated behavioral signs that prove you have been officially recruited for the job of protecting them. You have almost certainly seen these signs before, but you completely misunderstood what they actually meant. And the very first sign usually happens when you are just minding your own business, doing absolutely nothing threatening at all, completely unaware that you are actively on guard duty. Let us paint a picture that you have probably experienced dozens of times in your own life. It is a beautiful, warm Saturday afternoon. You are out in the garden, kneeling in the dirt, slowly pulling stubborn weeds. Or maybe you are just relaxing in your favorite patio chair, reading a book in the sun. Suddenly, a robin, a mockingbird, or a dark-eyed junco lands on the short grass just 3 or 4 feet away from your shoes. You accidentally drop your metal gardening trowel on the concrete, or you shift your weight in the creaky outdoor chair. Normally, any sudden movement or sharp metallic noise like that would instantly send a wild bird scattering into the dense brush in a state of absolute, terrified panic. Their survival depends on fleeing first and asking questions later. But this specific bird doesn't fly away. It just pauses for a fraction of a second, looks directly at you to confirm your location, and then calmly goes right back to aggressively digging for fat grubs and insects in the soil. Your heart instantly melts. You smile to yourself and think that this beautiful wild creature has finally been tamed by your gentle nature. You think it trusts you so deeply that it wants to hang out with you, like a loyal golden retriever. I hate to break this heavy truth to you, but that bird is not feeling fuzzy, warm emotions toward you in that moment. It has actively activated what behavioral ornithologists call a proximity exemption, and it is actively using you as a biological force field. You have to understand that for a wild bird, the simple act of eating is the most dangerous, life-threatening thing it does all day long. When their head is pointed down at the ground, deeply focused on extracting a worm, they are highly vulnerable to a sudden, violent, high-speed ambush from a Cooper's hawk silently diving from the tree canopy, or a stealthy feral cat leaping from the dense bushes. But predators in the wild are ultimate cowards who rely entirely on perfect stealth, the element of surprise, and completely isolated targets. A hunting hawk is absolutely terrified of a moving human being. A neighborhood cat will not execute a calculated hunt within 10 feet of a towering person who is making noise. The bird foraging in your grass knows this perfectly well. It has watched you for months from the safety of the trees. It has mathematically calculated your exact threat radius and your daily habits. It knows with absolute certainty that as long as it stays inside your personal bubble of human intimidation, it is 100% safe from aerial and ground attacks. You are the heavy artillery that keeps the real monsters at bay. It is a brilliant, calculated survival strategy where your intimidating presence is entirely exploited for their absolute benefit. If you have ever had a wild bird get shockingly close to you while you are working outside, take a quick second to hit that like button right now, because you were officially working as a highly effective bird bouncer without even realizing it. But using your physical presence for a safe lunch on a Saturday afternoon is just the entry-level phase of their master plan. The second sign is much more extreme, much more permanent, and it involves them risking the fragile lives of their own unborn children on your loud, chaotic daily routine. The second, and perhaps the most undeniable sign that a bird has chosen to weaponize your presence, is something that often frustrates and confuses homeowners every single spring. You wake up early one morning in May, open your front door to grab the newspaper or check the mail, and something explodes into a flurry of chaotic wings right above your head. You look up and realize that a pair of house finches, robins, or Carolina wrens have aggressively decided to build their nest in the absolute worst, most inconvenient, and loudest possible location they could find. They have built it directly inside the decorative wreath hanging tightly on your front door. Or maybe they tucked it deep inside the hanging flower basket, right next to the loud, clunky garage door that violently opens and closes 4 times a day. Sometimes they even build it directly on top of the side view mirror of an old truck that you park in the driveway. From a human perspective, this decision seems entirely ridiculous, completely illogical, and borderline suicidal. Why would a fragile, easily frightened wild animal choose to raise its completely helpless, naked babies in the exact spot where a massive, loud giant stomps past them multiple times every single day? You probably assume they are just stupid, desperate for any dry shelter, or that they simply made a terrible real estate mistake. But building a nest in the epicenter of your human chaos is actually a sign of incredibly advanced, calculated intelligence. It is the ultimate expression of the bodyguard strategy, taken to its most extreme logical conclusion. In the natural world, the deep, dark woods are not peaceful sanctuaries. They are terrifying, brutal war zones. When a bird builds a perfectly camouflaged nest deep inside a quiet, secluded forest thicket, it is constantly battling a relentless, invisible army of nest raiders. Silent rat snakes effortlessly climb the tree trunks under the cover of darkness. Opportunistic raccoons and agile squirrels patrol the branches, specifically looking for easy protein. Crows and blue jays actively hunt for unattended eggs. For a small songbird, Successfully raising a clutch of chicks in the wild is a massive, stressful gamble against overwhelming, terrifying odds. But the birds in your yard have figured out a brilliant cheat code to bypass this brutal natural lottery. They have realized that snakes, raccoons, and feral cats absolutely despise the high-traffic, loud, unpredictable areas directly surrounding human dwellings. A cautious rat snake is never going to climb a smooth brick wall and crawl into a wreath right next to a heavy, slamming wooden door. A feral cat is not going to scale a hanging basket that gets watered by a human every single morning. The birds endure the massive stress of your slamming doors, your loud conversations, and your terrifying proximity because they know that your chaotic human activity creates an impenetrable, invisible fortress around their babies. They have mathematically weighed the high stress of living next to you against the total devastation of a snake attack in the woods, and they chose your loud, scary protection. They are essentially renting the premium, high-security space right under your nose, paying for it with their constant anxiety, just to utilize your massive status as an apex predator. They are betting their entire genetic future on the absolute fact that you are the scariest thing in the neighborhood. And while they trust your intimidating presence to protect their nest, the final sign that they have chosen you is when they start actively demanding that you use your power to help them in real time. The third sign is the most confusing to experience, and it is the exact moment when the dynamic shifts from passive protection to active, aggressive manipulation. You are walking out to your mailbox or simply strolling across the lawn to check on your garden hoses. Suddenly, a small bird, perhaps a mockingbird or a tiny chickadee, swoops down from a high branch and lands on a low, exposed fence post just a few feet away from you. Instead of flying away or ignoring you, it turns its body directly toward you, puffs up its feathers to look slightly larger, and starts aggressively, loudly chipping or scolding right in your face. Sometimes they might even dramatically drop a small twig or a leaf right near your shoes. Your immediate, natural human reaction is to think that you have done something terribly wrong. You assume you accidentally walked too close to a hidden nest, or that the bird is simply angry at you for invading its personal space. You feel guilty and start to slowly back away, apologizing to the tiny creature. But you are completely misreading the situation. That bird is not trying to scare you away. That bird is actively trying to recruit your attention and weaponize your massive size against a hidden enemy that you cannot even see yet. You need to stop looking at the angry bird and start scanning the immediate environment directly behind you or in the thick bushes nearby. You see, wild birds have incredible, hyper-sharp vision that is designed to instantly detect the subtle, terrifying outline of a camouflaged predator. While you are mindlessly walking to the mailbox, completely oblivious to your surroundings, that small bird has already spotted the highly venomous copperhead snake, perfectly coiled and hidden in the dark mulch right next to your path. Or it has seen the neighborhood feral cat pressed flat against the ground under the low hosta plants, completely invisible to your human eyes, waiting patiently to strike. The bird knows exactly where the lethal danger is, but it also knows that it is far too small and weak to physically drive the snake or the cat away by itself. So, it initiates the distraction protocol. It actively tries to annoy you, to draw your heavy, stomping footsteps and your massive, terrifying human presence directly toward the area where the hidden predator is waiting. It is essentially using you as a massive, heavy, biological bulldozer. It knows that your loud, clumsy approach will immediately shatter the predator's perfect stealth and force the snake to slither away, or the cat to break cover and run for its life. The bird is not scolding you because it hates you. It is urgently screaming at you to use your size to clear out the dangerous element that is threatening its territory. It is demanding that the bodyguard do its job, When you finally realize this incredible, calculated manipulation, your entire perspective on backyard wildlife fundamentally shifts forever. When you finally step back and put all of these pieces together, a profound and slightly humbling realization washes over you. The beautiful, delicate wild birds in your yard are not your sweet, innocent, Disney-style friends, and they never will be. But what they actually are is something far more impressive, far more ancient, and deeply fascinating. They are incredible, rugged survivors, highly intelligent tacticians fighting a daily, desperate war for existence in a brutal natural world. When they refuse to fly away as you pull weeds, when they stubbornly build their fragile nests right next to your slamming garage door, and when they aggressively scold you to chase away a hidden snake in the grass, they are not acting out of cartoonish love. They are acting out of a brilliant, cold, evolutionary calculation. They have carefully observed you. They have measured your massive potential for intimidation, and they have successfully integrated your terrifying human presence into their desperate strategy for survival. They have officially drafted you into their hidden war as their ultimate, unwitting bodyguard. This realization shouldn't make you feel sad or disconnected from nature. It should make you feel incredibly honored. True, deep respect from a wild animal is never freely given. It must be carefully earned through consistency and observation. They have deemed you predictable enough to tolerate, and terrifying enough to use as a shield against the monsters of the world. That kind of calculated, survival-based trust is a billion times more powerful and meaningful than any imaginary fairy tale friendship. It means you are an active, vital participant in the complex, hidden ecosystem right outside your window. You are not just a passive observer providing expensive snacks. You are a key structural pillar in their daily fight to stay alive. So, the next time a robin hops a little too close to your boots while you garden, or a finch builds a messy nest in your expensive door wreath, do not shoo them away. Do not get frustrated. Smile, stand up a little taller, and quietly accept the incredible responsibility they have placed upon you. You are the apex predator they chose to protect their family. Embrace the role. Keep your yard safe from true threats, and wear your invisible badge of honor with deep pride. If you have ever noticed any of these 3 incredible signs in your own backyard, let me know in the comments below exactly what happened. And if you are ready to officially accept your role as the guardian of the flock, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now to join our community of wildlife protectors.